You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Here we go now. 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 All right. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me, all the things. Yes. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me, all the things. Are we live everywhere? How do I tell? I don't know. You guys let me know. If you're watching on Twitch, let me know if we're live there. Can't see whether or not, if you guys are there with me. Shout out to everyone watching on YouTube, Facebook, on X. I see you guys there as well. Shout out to everyone, that 150 of you that have already liked the video. So thank you. 156 of you that have already. Okay, yes, we are live on Twitch. Thank you so much, Grandest Diva. I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's tech stuff. Guys, welcome to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. We are live for our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I literally just finished watching the episode for a second time. I feel like the Peacock version might be a little different, unless there's just certain things I may have missed last night watching it on the Bravo version. But I do want to first start off talking about Stacey, Rusch on Watch What Happens Live. And I point this out because if you watch last week's episode of Watch What Happens Live with Keiarna, and this is not me trying to come down on Keiarna, because I know there is a small fan base of 3 of you that are diehard fanatics for Keiarna. Fine. I'm just pointing out, it's important for us when we watch What Happens Live to see Andy's behavior and interaction with the housewife, but also to see how they perform. And based off of the performance, Keiarna's performance, I said this last week when we were talking about her performance, because it really is a performance on Watch What Happens Live versus Stacey. First of all, Andy said that he finds her, what was the word? I wrote it down on X last night. Let me see if I can find it. Because he said exceedingly entertaining. I think that's what he said. Let me just make sure I'm getting that correct. Because I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, Andy really likes Stacey. He really likes Stacey. Hold on. I wrote this down yesterday. Oh, yeah. So I said Stacey ain't going anywhere. Andy just said that he finds her endlessly entertaining. Endlessly entertaining. It was so random, and you could tell just the way he looked at her, the way that he interacted. First of all, shout out to the Smith sisters. They were highly entertaining to watch. I don't know if you saw the after show when Andy asked them, am I invited to the cookout? And they unanimously were like, no. Because they were like, you're not supposed to ask if you're invited to the cookout. Andy, you're not invited to the cookout because they're afraid that you're going to be flirting with their husbands and their cousins and things. Yes, look, and because they know your type. At least your type behind closed doors, because we ain't never seen you talk about or have a man on the red carpet besides the one that you work with, and he ain't black. Anyway. How does it become about Andy? Well, because we're talking about Watch What Happens Live. I feel like Stacey, I know they say it's a character, and some of you feel like it's a character as well. If it is, she is so convincing with this character that she's portraying. Whatever it is, she is so convincing because it's both a mixture of, bougie posture, clean cut, innocent, but you still get a little bit of that little bit of fire, okay? And I felt like she came, she performed, she answered the question, every question that was given to her, she answered. Even if she didn't like what the Smith sisters had believed about her, because she had a funny response to it. I enjoy Stacey, and apparently so does Andy. Gizelle, you should be worried. No, you should be. You should be worried because now he likes someone that he likes their personality and they're married. Just saying. Well, she's technically not married, but I think that's going to be her storyline for next year. They're getting back together and they're getting married. Why not? That man loves him some Stacey, and now we're understanding why. Okay? Stacey, I keep saying this every week. I know before you left QVC, you were in talks, allegedly. I don't know if I believe this. You were in talks about having your own line. Now you're on Real Housewives of Potomac. Now it makes even more sense for you to have your own line with QVC. I want to see you return home just to sell your own personal line. I don't care about the weed business, Stacey, whatever. What's it called? She did say and talked about it. She was like, well, Gizelle wasn't right because, nothing was actually happening at that particular point. That was her response. So watch what happens live. She was given a political answer. Clearly she was working on something, but maybe she didn't want to talk about it because she had not signed on the dotted line. Makes sense. The way she makes it seem, though, is like it wasn't really in fruition then. Clearly it was. So I do think that Gizelle was right on some level. Okay? But I don't care about a Stacey. Some of you do because you're puff past people. That's fine. Okay? No judgments here.
Lies! The lie!
No judgments. But I think it makes more sense for her to do. I know she's not the most fashionable person. However, she comes from QVC. A lot of what she wears, a lot of people would wear, like everyday stuff. She could work with some designers over there. I see or even a home line. Come on, Stacey. You have the in over there at QVC unless you were fired. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I could find out. I know people, Stacey, at QVC.
Matter of fact, I never thought about this. I think I'm going to ask.
Nikki says, we're not judging, but we're judging. I just thought about this. I'm going to ask some people that I know over there at the QVC HSN. Just to know, just to clear some things up, okay? She was only there for 2 years. It's a very good job, but I think she left in order to be on this show, I think. Okay? Oh, Raven says Stacey should have a breath mints line. I've never seen it on QVC, but, I don't watch everything on QVC. Why not? She should do a home line, all kinds of stuff. Breath mints would be fantastic. Why not? Spin it around. Spin it around. Amanda says it's giving Kempire villain era. The villain era is not over, for those that were wondering. It's not over. I told you, Loverboy era is loading. Okay? Hey, Chastity. Thank you for being a member. She says, OMG, I love me some Kempire. Stay tuned, y'all. Now, Stacey's like, uh-oh. Let's see. Or mouthwash. You're right. Who said mouthwash in the chat? Yes, mouthwash. Stacey, a whole line. For all we know, this could be in the works. Because I've been saying this for a while now, that she should go back to QVC, not as an employee, but as a business partner. Come on, Stacey. I'm ready to see it. And she's so likable, and she would be able to sell everything. Come on, let's see it. And now you come back up in there. Mina says, I'll miss the villain era. It will always be in me. That's what he said. What? Huh? Okay, sorry. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, guys. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I just wanted to mention briefly Stacey's appearance on Watch What Happens Live. I think she did a fantastic job. Andy said that he finds her endlessly entertaining. So I think Stacey's there for a while, y'all. And look, I think we all agree, even if you don't necessarily like or love someone, I always tell you, it's not even about liking or love someone. If we're looking from a producer's perspective, it's whether or not this person invokes a feeling, good, bad, or indifferent. You don't want indifferent. Angel. Oof. Angel. Angel. I don't know, girl. Before we even get into everything else, I do want to send prayers out to Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa is a Category 5 hurricane right now. Shout out to all my friends, family, and our community that's in Jamaica and everyone that's in the path of Hurricane Melissa. Shout out to Haiti. The last thing Haiti needs is any more damage to their country. So, and to the Dominican Republic, they also were affected by Hurricane Melissa. So shout out to everyone. Let's continue to pray for Jamaica and every Caribbean island in the path of Hurricane Melissa. Let's pray that Hurricane Melissa lessens in power. So let's continue to pray for everyone affected by Hurricane Melissa between now and the next couple of days. All right. Back to this. Before we even get into everything that I want to get into, our friends over at Factor are back. Come on. Factor's back on the channel, y'all. I love a Factor meal, and I can't wait for my Factor meals to arrive this week. This week, I think. Yeah, soon. They should be arriving. We love our Factor meals. It's the fall. Summer's over, but that doesn't mean that you're meal planning, that you're dieting, that you're trying to get it together, or maybe you don't cook like I don't. I don't love to cook. I cooked a little bit last week, but I'm not looking forward to cooking this week. Well, Factor makes it so simple and easy. In just 2 minutes, you can have chef-crafted meals, and they have Protein Plus. They got keto. They even got stuff for those of you that are on GLP-1s. Okay, all right, hold on. So Factor fall always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I personally love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season gets. And it's about to be holiday season, and the last thing you want to do is be in the kitchen. Just saying. So they have more variety, more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. Okay, at no extra cost. So we're excited that Factor is back here on the channel, and I love using them, and I love sharing them with you guys. So of course, I've gotten you a discount. Of course, come on now. So eat smart at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and code Kempire50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code Kempire50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. More information will be available in regards to Factor in the description or episode notes. Don't forget, you can also listen to the Kempire podcast version of our live recaps and special episodes as well. So, shout out to Factor for sponsoring today's recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. So, before we even get into Potomac, I'll add some timestamps and things like that if I get to it. Sorry, but not sorry. Okay. This episode, I cannot wait to talk about the episode. It's not because the episode was amazing. It was a good episode. How would you guys rate this week's episode of Potomac? It wasn't amazing because I see people working. I see people producing. And I told you some of the tea that I got in regards to the season of Potomac is that Ashley and Gizelle are going to be working overtime. You're going to be mad at them because you're going to see them trying to force narratives and produce. And I'm seeing that in this week's episode. I'm happy that they got an international trip already. They're on a yacht. I have to put yacht in quotes because at first I was like, oh, it's excited for them. We're going on a yacht. We're taking a yacht to the Four Seasons. We're going to Nevis. And then I was on the yacht and I was like, okay, maybe it's just too many people. But we have to also keep in mind Karen's salary. Karen is an OG. She's been there since the beginning. So her salary is pretty hefty. So don't be surprised if we don't get this when Karen returns. Because that salary, they had that salary to spend this season. So they were able to have more women. They were able to go do a yacht. I know it's considered a yacht, but we've seen a lot of yachts on Housewives. This probably was not the most impressive one, But Keith says it was a catamaran. Well, that's the vibe. That was definitely because I said on Twitter last night, I said, are we taking a boat to the yacht and then the yacht to Four Seasons?
Lies! The lie!
I was wondering, I was asking the question, and this is not me being bougie because I haven't been on a yacht. I'm just telling you, I've never been, have I? No, I've never had to think about that. I was like, there was that Diddy party. No, I'm joking.
Lies! The lie!
I'm joking. Sidebar, we know when Diddy's going to get out of jail, May of 2028. That's if, you know, his sentence could be reduced, you know, with the drug programs and all that stuff. Where are we going right now? Let me focus. Well, it's a perfect segue before we get into the Real Housewives of Potomac to talk about Eddie Osefo. Janiqua says that it's only 15 to 20 minutes trip to Nevis. Okay. Oh, Janiqua said it was a catamaran. So why she kept on saying yacht? Oh, thank you, Janiqua. Keisha wants to know what does my shirt say? Well, shameless plug. Are you okay? Yes. Come on now. Are you okay? Head on over to houseofkempire.com so you can get your t-shirts today. Good quality t-shirts, and they have sweatshirts as well. So thank you, Keisha, for asking so I could do my shameless plug. Thank you, Keisha. All right. So, you know, we went live last week to give you an update on the Wendy and Eddie Osefo situation. But speaking of Watch What Happens Live, Stacey did talk about seeing Wendy since she's been arrested. And she revealed that she has seen Wendy. She's hugged. They held each other. And she says that she's going to stand by Wendy through all of this. And she can't wait for Wendy to tell her story. Okay? You're right, Funky. She says, Kempire, you have not been on a yacht yet. Speak it into existence. You're right. Honestly, when I said it wasn't like I didn't think that I would be. That's why I was almost shocked at the fact that I hadn't been on one. Maybe because I haven't tried to be on one. You know, I kind of live like that in my head. I'm like, oh, you're right. It's not that I don't believe I can't be on one. It's like, but you're right, Funky. Look, I haven't been on a yacht yet. Okay. And clearly won't be this catamaran. No shade. Okay. All right. But last week we went live and gave you an update on the Wendy Osefo. And there were a lot of things that came out in regards to what Wendy was saying in her legal filings. That she wanted their trials, her and Eddie's trials, to be separate, which made people think, is she throwing him under the bus? Is she going, what's happening? Is he going to take the charges for them? What is happening? She also asked for certain stipulations in regards to evidence that she is requesting. We had two amazing attorneys, our friends, Miss Esquire and Coco Esquire, call in and gave fantastic perspectives. I did put timestamps for them. So if you missed that live, be sure to check that out. Because, we like to be a well-informed community. And we don't like to just assume and run with what the streets are saying. So they gave really great legal perspectives, not advice, but perspectives on what could be possibly happening here. Well, we have now found out that Eddie Osefo has hired an attorney. So we're going to go through that in a second. What I wanted to mention, though, because a lot of people are speculating that Eddie and Wendy might be having marriage trouble, might be throwing each other under the bus, might be turning on each other. Well, no, because literally when Eddie was promoting his Happy Eddie event here in New York City, hold on, let me bring it up. He had a pop-up. I should have went on the 24th, okay? And then he's having one on the 30th. You welcome, Eddie. Here I am promoting Happy Eddie. So Happy Eddie pop-up in Daughter Peaksville, okay? And he's having, that one's already happened. Well, he's having another one in Silver Spring on October 30th, so in 3 days, on Thursday. I'm assuming he's going to be there. Was he at the one on the 24th? What did anyone go to the Far and Daughter Peaksville pop-up? I mean, they got to make money. You see, he got the sunglasses on. He don't want you to see his eyes hanging low. But I still got the picture. Sorry. Gotta show it. Sorry. So he's having a pop-up. So I saw in the comment section, because I was sleuthing. I saw in the comment section, Wendy bigging up her husband, saying, like, here we go. I forgot what she said exactly, but she was like, here we go. He replied to her heart with the infinity. Like, they ride or die. They ride or die. Dion said, so you going, Kempire? No, I am not going. But I'm hoping one of y'all will go and report back to let us know if he was there. I'm sure they got to work. They got to pay for their legal fees because Eddie got a high-powered attorney to represent him in this situation. So according to Us Weekly, they said Real Housewives of Potomac star Eddie Osefo hired powerhouse attorney Joseph Murtha, who previously worked on a high-profile case involving former President Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, to defend him against insurance fraud allegations. This is their exclusive report. On Friday, October 24th, Murtha filed court documents in the Bravo Stars criminal case. As Us previously reported, Osefo and his wife, Wendy Osefo, were arrested on October 9th on charges of insurance fraud, conspiracy insurance fraud, and making false statements to a police officer. All right? They said Wendy, who's 41, filed court docs last week, asking to have her trial separate from any co-defendants, including her husband. She also asked for all charges to be dropped. Eddie, 41, hired Murtha, who has quite the experience in court. According to his website, Murtha is a veteran trial attorney with experience in both state and federal courts. He's well known for 2 high-profile cases. He represented Linda Tripp in a case where she was accused of breaking the law when she taped her conversations with Monica Lewinsky, who was involved in a sex scandal with former President Clinton while he was in office in 1995. All charges against Tripp were dropped in 2000. In a separate case, Murtha represented a Baltimore police officer named William Porter. Prosecutors charged Porter with manslaughter over the death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray. Remember that story? Gray sustained fatal injuries while in police custody on charges of a possession of a knife. He was taken to a trauma center and announced dead on April 19, 2015. His death led to protests and numerous investigations into the matter. 3 officers were found not guilty. 2 officers had charges dropped, and Porter had his charges dropped after a mistrial. So you know this attorney's not cheap. So they said in his filing, Eddie demanded prosecutors turn over the names of all potential witnesses they plan to call to testify against him. Eddie's lawyers asked that all charges be dismissed due to issues with the charging document, same what Wendy was asking, saying that this was an illegal arrest. He also asked, as did Wendy, that all evidence collected be suppressed due to it being part of an unlawful search and seizure. In its filing, Eddie also asked that he be tried separately from any co-defendant in the case. He said that if he was not granted this request, it would, quote, be clearly prejudicial to his right to due process and a flagrant violation of his constitutional and other legal rights. As Us first reported, the legal drama started after Wendy and Eddie called to report a burglary at their Maryland home in April of 2024. The duo said that someone broke into their home and stole various expensive items while they were on vacation. In the court docs, prosecutors noted that the police said that Wendy and Eddie's security cameras did not catch any motion on the night in question. The reality stars are accused of making misleading statements to various insurance companies and reporting items as stolen when they had either returned them or still had the items in their possession. In court documents, the prosecutors claimed that when the couple was arrested, they had at least 15 items that they claimed had been stolen. At the time, a rep for the couple released a statement addressing the situation. Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family and in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. The Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and the legal process ahead. So, just wanted to update you. We did not have an opportunity before the last time we covered Wendy coming out and asking for the charges to be dismissed due to the charging documents and saying that this was an illegal arrest. So this is the update. Eddie does now have an attorney, a high-powered attorney that has some notable cases under their belt. So it's expensive. It's expensive. As someone that used to work for a law firm, yeah. It's going to It's going to be very expensive, especially if they decide to fight this. And, if you've been watching our channel and some people that work in insurance, they were like, they should fight this because if they take a plea deal, it's going to hurt them in the future. That might be regardless of what happens here. We're going to continue to follow this case, but I wanted to give you guys an update in regards to the Wendy and Eddie Osefo legal situation that they're facing currently. And be sure to check out, we've done multiple videos on this case. So if you want a full understanding of what might be going on, you might be behind, be sure to check that out. All right, so let's get to this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Again, I will add the timestamps for those that, I assume that you want to know all the things, especially if they're related to Real Housewives of Potomac. But look, I will add the timestamps, especially for those that may be watching it live and just want to go back. Maybe, right? You guys told me in the chat how you would rate this week's episode. Again, if you haven't voted in our YouTube live chat poll, be sure to rate it. Let me see what we have and how you guys are feeling about the episode. I mean, so far it looks good based off of how many of you have voted. Let me see. In the live chat poll, almost 800 of you have voted. Almost 750 of you have voted. 75% of you rated it between a 7 and 10. And maybe because we're actually on a trip and it's an international trip. Look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Miss Parker, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Miss Parker says, I'm in a training, but I did not want to miss this live review. Kay and Angel are the undynamic duo. It's clear that they had a conversation off camera to have each other's back no matter what. And I don't know. I feel as if Angel is on a sinking ship. But that's her friend. That's her friend of 20 years. Can I blame her for being on that sinking ship? I really can't. Because I don't know what I would do because I'm a very loyal person as well. But I don't know, y'all. This is not looking good for Angel and Angel's Photoshop and filtered pictures. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it. So let me just start from the actual beginning, which is with the ladies in the Sprinter, where again Keiarna and Stacey are getting into it. Okay, Stacey says that Keiarna hates her. Okay, and she's like, I never met someone that just hates the way that you breathe. I could see how it's so interesting that she hates the way that you breathe. Because that's very possible, of it all. She just hates the way that you breathe. And Kay, at one particular day, she's like, stop touching me. So Stacey starts to move over to Gizelle, and Giselle's like, don't, you love to touch people. Don't move over to me. So the ladies end up getting out of the Sprinter. They're at Preakness. They're here for this event. The Preakness event was all which away. I don't know what was happening at this Preakness event. Okay, but I enjoyed it. I will say that. So Kay starts to give the women $20. At first, in the Sprinter, when Ashley asked if she was going to share the money that Greg gave her, she was like, no. But when she got there, she was giving out the $20. So everybody was trying to twerk for the $20, and ain't nobody there that was twerking correctly. Ashley swears she was twerking. I don't know what all of this was. Girl. No. But both Wendy and Stacey are like, are you going to give us $20? So she does end up giving $20 to all of the women, okay? So when they walk away, Wendy turns to Gizelle. She's like, just bring up my name to Angel, and she'll talk about me for the next 7 minutes. And I know what you all are thinking. When did Gizelle and Wendy become like this dynamic duo? And look at Wendy being messy. I'm going to defend Wendy here, though, because Wendy hasn't said or done anything to Angel or Keiarna that we know of. And it seems like they're reaching to have an issue with her, especially Angel, because Angel had all of this energy for Wendy at Kay's condo. R. Bless says that Ashley was trying to do the shimmy, Kempire. Trying to do my shimmy. I don't know what that was. And I don't even have breasts. And I did a better job. Okay, anyway. So I feel as if Wendy is justified to be like, yeah, I don't like that girl now. You came for me when it was Gizelle that brought it up. I feel like all of the newbies are getting it wrong. they're coming for the wrong people. They're not coming for the people that were actually coming for them. And I think it's because they're scared to come for the OG. No, come for the person that's coming for you, because people are going to see, well, she came for you, so I understand why you're going to actually, come for her. It's not like you're forcing an issue, like you're forcing an issue with Wendy. So I don't blame Wendy for having fever for Angel now. Especially because this just happened. Remember, I know it was last week's episode, but this is all happening at the same time, the same event. Okay? So Wendy she says to Gizelle, bringing my name to Angel, I bet she'll talk about me for the next 7 minutes. Oh. So then it leads into a conversation where Wendy must have had tea. And look, I told you I don't like the fact that these housewives start digging up stuff, but I'm not surprised that they are digging up stuff on each other. So it seemed as if Wendy had some stuff in her arsenal when it comes to Angel, because she was like, well, I heard she didn't graduate from Temple. And then you see Gizelle. Giselle's there for the mess. Giselle's all there for trying to find out information. She's like, oh, is that the word on the street? And she's like, oh, you guys, you guys went to Temple together. And I said to you, I think Wendy was like a senior and Angel was like a freshman. Like, why would they know each other? But apparently they knew of each other. I don't know how, but maybe they had similar sorority. I don't know. Is Angel a AKA too? I think so. Is she? I don't know. So maybe that's how they knew each other. I don't know. Or maybe maybe they had a class together. I don't know. Maybe not. But Wendy's like, I don't know her. Okay. So she brings up, she's like, well, I heard something transpired to why Angel did not graduate. And apparently Angel has said that she graduated from Temple. Okay. Ocean Dreaming says Gizelle loved it. Of course she did. Or Gisella. Ocean called her Gisella. Gisella loved it. She did, because Giselle's messy. And Gizelle is okay with everyone else having drama and her being the manipulator of that drama. Okay. So Wendy, because I know people are going to come for Wendy. Angel's an AKA, someone says. I know Jassi's an AKA, but I don't know. Oh, Angel's roommate was Wendy's sorority sister. Thank you, S. Lover. So that's how they probably know each other. But still, remember, knowing of someone doesn't mean that you're friendly. Just saying. Okay. All right. So Wendy spills tea that I heard something transpired and Angel didn't graduate. Oh. Tyrese says that there it wasn't many blacks at Temple. Oh. Of course. Elle says that Gizelle was seated. Of course she is. Of course she is. And Wendy knows that. So Wendy, I feel like Wendy is doing exactly what she did not like done to her. I'll be honest, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't remember some of the history over the last few years when it comes to how they treated Wendy. So now she's become the new regular Robin. Maybe. All right. So Wendy says that. Stacey comes over and she's like, I'm putting this $20 in my pocket, because she's over there trying to give a tutorial on how to bet. Okay. He's trying to do a tutorial on how to bet. So she's like, I put the $20 in my purse. Okay. So Ashley's getting flirted with this man. I don't know what I think men probably see Ashley like she's pretty. I just wonder if when people start to speak to Ashley, they're like, oh, she's just pretty. Because even her interaction with the guy, she's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get you. She's like, oh yeah, you're like. So she starts playing like this dumb role. Like, I'm just like, oh God. But again, I'm a gay man, so maybe for heterosexual men, this is attractive. I'm like, sir, you find this, like, I'm literally in between them. Like, sir, you find this attractive? Okay, all right. So she's already getting flirted with at this event. Okay. So she gives an update because Stacey wants to know, it's like, what's going on with you and Josh? And she's like, things are going, but I'm dating. And Gizelle chimes in, and Giselle's like, yeah, I believe that you're single until you're married. What about your ex-husband? He was, married, but acting like he was single. Okay. Vivian, that's what I thought. That's why. Did you see my confusion? Vivian says Temple is in Philly. There's nothing but black people there. I was confused, but then I was like, oh, really? But then I don't like to assume. But Vivian says, I mean, that's what I thought. But I don't like to assume. Here we are. Anyway, so this is where Stacey decides to ask Gizelle about her dating life. She's like, so about you, Gizelle, are you dating anyone? And then they start to figure like, what are you alluding to, Stacey? But I like how Stacey handled it here in regards to starting to lay the groundwork, but also redirecting, because Gizelle's so good about asking everyone about what's going on with them, and no one seems to come for Gizelle. Like, what's going on with you, Gizelle? Like, who are you dating? And they should call her out when she has so much to say about their relationships. Girl, don't talk about me and my relationships. Where's yours? They need the energy of Monique at that reunion for season 5. That's the energy that they need for Gizelle. Don't come for my relationship unless you got one that I can come for. So Stacey's laying the ground. She's like, so what's going on with you? Because she's like, y'all are always asking about my relationships. What's going on with you? Okay. She's laying the groundwork for that. Okay. All right. So apparently Angel has a man for Gizelle. So of course the ladies start asking, is he bald? Is he chocolate? And she's like, yeah, he is. And she's like, here y'all go starting. Okay. Here y'all go starting. Good Girl says Temple is, here we go with our sidebars. Good Girl says Temple isn't an HBCU. It's predominantly white school located and also gentrifying a black neighborhood. Oh, see, this is why I don't like to assume. Okay. I haven't been to Temple, but anyone know the actual stats so that we can clear this up? Oh, look, okay. All right. Amanda says, I'm from Philly and I live near Temple. We call Temple an honorary HBCU because it once had a large black population. So has that changed, Amanda? But as they just said, the area is being gentrified. Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to listen to the local. I'm going to listen to the local. But look, we learned something. We learned from each other here. Okay. Nubian Mahogany says, I think Angel's afraid to go at it with Gizelle. Clearly. I think all of them are. And I think Wendy's not going to do it because she's been spoken to very much like Gizelle's been spoken to. We don't want to see any of that toxicity anymore between the two of you. Okay. All right. So they start talking about Angel starts talking about the man that she has for Gizelle, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? So Ashley calls out Tia for calling her rude. So they flash back to when they were shopping, Tia, Wendy, and Gizelle, and Ashley. So Ashley called them to see if you'd see for Wendy and Gizelle to come over. Okay. So we see in that moment Tia say, well, that was rude. Why did some of you guys think that Tia's accent is not real? I find that so interesting that there are real conversations about people feeling like her accent isn't real. Why is that? Is it because it doesn't fit your depiction of what a British accent should sound like? There's so many variations of the British accent. So many variations. But I find it to be interesting that you guys don't necessarily believe that she's British. This is not a Dorit situation, right? Look, right? Okay. I love numbers. We always digress on this channel. Dr. B, thank you for being a member, says Google says Temple is 45% white, 16% black, 15% Asian, and 9% Hispanic. So the original comment was correct. The majority is white. I'm guessing maybe there was a point when it was majority black. Thank you, Joy. Shout out to our UK massive. Okay. Amina says the accent is very real. Joy says, I live in England. Her accent is authentic. I don't know. I'm starting to see a lot more people say it, but I'm thinking these are Americans that have one idea of what the British accent should sound like. And I'm like, I don't think that. Okay. All right. Let me move on. Can we move on now? Can we move on from the temple conversation? Let's move on. All right, let's move on. Guys, I don't care anymore in regards to the temple of it all. You can Google it yourself. Let's move on from the conversation because we can digress, and I don't want to digress anymore. I have a lot to talk about. Let's move on. All right. So Ashley updates on her dating life. Let me move on. Oh, so Tia is confronted by Ashley because she said, "I heard that you called me rude," and Tia's like, "Oh no, it was very tongue in cheek. I didn't mean it in that way." And Keiarna's like, "What's tongue in cheek?" Tongue in cheek can be a little shady. It's not straight out shady. It's definitely not chin check because someone at the table was like, "Is it like chin check?" And she's like, "No, it's not that aggressive. It's very, it's very light. It's not that serious." But it's light. I think it's like light shade. It can be light shade, but tongue in cheek, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. So it gets a little heated between Ashley and Tia, but more so Tia, because Tia has the potential that I did not see until this moment. Because Ashley's like, "Oh, but it sounds like you were being shady." She's like, "I told you that it wasn't shady. Keep up. What part of this are you struggling with?" But what I loved was the fact that Tia dragged Ashley in that moment. She dragged her. I don't care what anyone says. In my opinion, she dragged Ashley so eloquently, so effortlessly. She's like, "What part of that are you struggling with?" And she said it right at her. Right at her. This is one to watch. She's not going to be falling for that whole Gizelle part of it. Please understand. Tia was just like, she's like, "What part of that are you struggling with? Keep up." First of all, I love British humor. If you don't know, now you know. And some people might not get Tia's sense of humor or how funny she actually is. I love her humor, all right? But I also love her shade. And she was like, "What part of that are you struggling with? Keep up." And she's like, "I'm not struggling." Ashley, "I'm not struggling with anything." But I love how Tia moved that moment from being a tense moment. And it could be editing. Shout out to the editors. It could be editing. But I love how she was able to move that tense moment to something shady. She's like, "Well, you know what? I have a problem with you," meaning Gizelle. And she's just like, "Me?" Because you told me when Ashley meets me, she would fancy me, and I haven't even had so much as a bum snatch. What did she say? Hold on, I wrote it down. A bum pinch. And so she really lightened the mood really quickly. You know what I mean? She really lightened the mood very quickly, and I said that is a master class in Housewives. Even some of the people, I'll say like Gizelle and Ashley, are not able to do what she just did. And I was like, I love this. You're right, Aisha. It's the Nigerian and British combination because Nigerian humor doesn't get enough credit as well. It doesn't get enough credit as well. Nigerian humor and shade is top tier. Okay? So I'm looking forward to seeing that combination as well. All right. Thank you to the 557 of you that have already liked the video. We appreciate your support. And if you're listening to this, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Kempire on all podcast platforms. And don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Speaking of the podcast, just a little break here. You might hear like ice promotion on different podcasts and things like that. I'm working with our podcast partners to have those removed, because that's something that's also happening on Spotify and things like that. Like, we don't choose things. Like, we could opt out of like politically driven ads and things like that. But I had no idea. Y'all know F ice over here. But if you hear stuff like that, please understand we are working with our podcast partners to make sure that we don't see anything like that on the podcast or politically driven ads and things like that. Please understand that is not in any way, shape, or form myself or the Kempire LLC or our actual sponsors are approving. Just an FYI. F-ICE. And why is ICE funded, but our air traffic controllers are not being paid? Just saying. Virgilian, good question. I have no idea. But I literally saw that before someone reached out to me. Shout out to our community. Reached out to me and said that they heard it on the podcast. I was like, what? And please understand, not everyone's hearing the same ads because it's all like an algorithm. So certain places will hear ads depending on where you are in the country and things like that as well. I do listen back to my podcast to make sure things are on the up and up. And I haven't personally heard any of that. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up because we have people that live around the country. So if he says British Nigerians are hilarious, I believe it. And I'm here for Tia. She said, what are you struggling with? Keep up. I love it. All right, let's move on. So Tia then helps to move the conversation on very quickly, which I appreciated in this moment. Jassi arrives. Look, Jassi came in with the energy I think that we all liked when we first were introduced to her. She was bubbly. She was the life of the party. I think she has a lot of potential. I think the way that she handled the whole Darius situation really made people go like, what happened, girl? I think if she just owned it, like, you know what? It was the beginning of our relationship. There was a little bit of an issue, but we figured it out. I think we would have, understood that more. She's now married the man. They're together. And remember, I think it was Miss Sharon that called it. Who's watch? I know production watches because it was a producer that brought up him being a bench warmer. Who watches the channel? Okay. Because it was Miss Sharon. Like, some of us don't watch football like that. And it was Miss Sharon who brought up, he's a bench warmer. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. Because it comes up, and Wendy was the one to catch it when Angel was like, he is a 10-year starter. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell does that mean? But it comes up later in the episode, and Wendy caught the shade because she was like, oh. And Dub says, it was Miss Sharon. I remember because that's the only reason why we knew that Darius wasn't like, yes, he was a part of a winning team. But now he's not, right? The Dallas Cowboys? But he was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How many rings? They get rings? Look, they get rings, right? How many rings does he have? Soraya says, Miss Sharon, come get your award. She will. The good girl says, I love Miss Sharon. She keeps us up to date. She's our sportsnista. Oh, Miss Carolita says, what's a bench warmer? Meaning that he doesn't play. But he still wins. Right? Latasha says, it's easy paycheck. Show up and get paid. And be a part of a winning team. Filipiana, thank you for being a member. Filipiana says she was letting her know her place in the WAG's hierarchy. Okay, okay. As soon as Jassi comes in and she greets Angel, first of all, the energy change. Pay attention to Keiarna's face. Pay attention to Angel's face. The energy seemed to change. But when Jassi and Angel hugged, she brought up being a WAG. Okay, I brought this up last week, or maybe the week before. I found it to be weird that an actual WAG refers to themselves as WAGs. Hold on. I know if you watch WAGs, they refer to themselves as WAG, but I don't consider those ladies real WAGs because they're willing to be on reality television. I'm talking about the real WAGs, the real wives. Do they really refer to themselves as WAGs? But maybe they do. I'm not a part of that world. I'm not a WAG. But I cringe every time she refers to herself as a WAG. I'm just like, okay. So during her confessional, production was messy, and it was like they had to ask the question on how Angel feels about being a WAG to a bench warmer. The shade, But I will give it to Angel. She answered that the best way that you, like a real politician. She's like, everyone's important to the game. Even a bench warmer? Even a bench warmer? Emma says, what does WAG mean? Wife and girlfriend to a football player? Wife and girlfriend to a football player. They say it on the game, Jamaki? They say it on the game? I don't know. Just hearing her say it, I was like, it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. I don't know. It just lands differently for me. But that's me. I'm not in that world. However, maybe in that world, they do that. Maybe Taylor Swift is already referring to herself as a wag. Maybe her next song, maybe it's on her album. Does she have a song called Wags on her album? I don't know. All right, fine. But anyway, so Jassi, as soon as Jassi comes in, she's hugging all the ladies. She knows all the ladies. The ladies know her. She's like, oh my gosh, hey, professor, commentator. And like they're loving on each other, okay? And Jassi comes in, she sits down, she's like, oh my gosh. So they start talking about their boyfriends and their husbands and things like that. He's a 10-year starter. And all of a sudden you hear, Wendy go, oh! And then she pulls up her binoculars, which I love. I need to get my own. She pulls up her binoculars and she looks through it. She's like, I caught that. Because she took what Angel said as shade. Do you think that it was shade? V says that Kay was immediately bothered. Well, we later find out why Kay was immediately bothered. Okay. Sister says, I liked her energy. Me too. But we liked, for those that were here last year when we recapped Real Housewives of Potomac, we liked Jassi in the beginning. It was when the whole baby mama drama stuff that played out and how she handled it made us go, oh no, girl, this ain't good. This ain't good at all. All right, so the ladies go out and they go watch the races, okay? Wendy wins $5, amazing. Ashley asks Keiarna, because this, again, we're going to see Ashley and Gizelle work overtime. So you see Ashley being messy. I'm just already going to give you guys the heads up. We're going to see Ashley do this all. And you're going to say, doesn't Ashley got her own business to mind? No, she doesn't this season, okay? Oh, Ateka says that Angel's a retired wag. Oh, damn. Leave Bobby alone. We love Bobby. Leave Bobby alone. All right. So Ashley asked Keiarna about her relationship with Jassi because she sensed an energy. And Keiarna says that Keiarna turns and she's like, Jassi, come over here. It feels so forced, some of these scenes, because it seems like they want to have these moments. So she calls Jassi over, and Kay says that Wendy told her that Stacey and Jassi had a problem with her. And instead of addressing Wendy, because literally in the confessional, Jassi says that Wendy, not even the confessional, she says in the moment, Jassi says that Wendy was being messy. But how did this turn into a fight between Jassi and Keiarna if there is no issue? Again, we're watching an edited version. Maybe it makes more sense when you see the full context of the situation. But your issue should have been with Wendy, because Wendy said that she had a conversation with Jassi, right? She had a conversation with Jassi, and based off of the conversation, it seemed as if, based off of the tone, I guess she had said when it came to Keiarna, it seemed a little like, huh. So it seemed as if Wendy was assuming a lot. Okay? But it then turns into a fight between Keiarna and Jassi. But before it gets directed to Wendy, the first lady is coming, and Wendy's just like, the first lady's coming, ladies. We'll get back to this conversation. The first lady's coming. So the first lady comes over. She does not get filmed. She did not want to film for Real Housewives of Potomac. Don't blame her. Okay. And they say hello. They hug and kiss the first lady of Maryland. All right. And what's her name? Keiarna has a comment about that. She's like, it's so funny that you were invited by the first lady, but she sees you for like 2.5 seconds. Well, I'm sure the first lady was very busy, at the Preakness of it all, right? But okay, they got to be shady in their confessionals. All right. So they get back to it. So when Wendy was on the phone with Jassi talking about attending the NAACP event, she said she noticed that Jassi made sort of a little bit of a sound when bringing up Keiarna. Jassi says that Wendy was just being messy and says that it was a stretch that there was any sort of like issue or beef or problem with Kay. All right. So Jassi says that she knows that Keiarna is going through a lot with Greg. And she's like, don't be talking about my relationship. So Keiarna brings up Darius and his 2 kids, which felt like the right thing to do. If you want to talk about my man situation, I'm going to bring up what's going on with you and your man. But again, I didn't understand how Wendy was being messy and there really wasn't a problem. Then it turned into you guys taking these digs at each other. It felt like these two are fighting for a flute. Because remember, when they're filming this particular point, we don't know what the status of their contract is. We don't know if Kay was confirmed as a full-timer at this particular point. Or even if she is, Jassi is probably fighting to get one as well. Okay? But that's what it felt like. The beef between Keiarna and Kay... Keiarna and Kay. Honestly, it really is a beef between Keiarna and Kay. She just fighting herself, okay? It's a beef between Keiarna and Kay. The beef between Keiarna and Jassi feels so like they're fighting over their position or trying to have a position in this group. And it's like, oh, I wish better for you both. There's got to be more to life, right? There's got to be more to life. Anyway. All right, guys, don't forget, for those that are wondering about my skincare routine, yes, the Skin is Skinning is brought to you by our friends over at Butter. Yes, be sure to, even I use like their bath wash and everything as well now too. There's all kind of really cool products with our friends over at Butter. You've seen my nighttime routine, my morning routine. Well, right now you're seeing my morning routine. You're seeing the cleanser, you're seeing the vitamin C, and you're also seeing the moisturizer. So, I didn't put my sunblock on. I need to make sure I do that. Okay. So, be sure to check out butterskin.com, but use our discount code KEMPIRE10 for 10% off. More information will be available in the description. Okay. All right. Shout out to our friends over at Butter. And yes, we will be collaborating with them again for the holidays. So stay tuned for that. All right. Let's get to the trip. Okay. Because a lot happens during the trip. I need to speed this up a little bit. So the women traveled to Nevis. All right. I've never been to Nevis, but apparently some of the women have, including apparently Arabella and Stacey have been before. I was right. Okay. Living their best lives. So Jassi comes in at the airport and she's like, making a joke that she was invited last minute. I don't know. And you guys will let me know. For those that watched it live last night on the Bravo version, did you see when Angel talked about inviting Charisse? Because I definitely noticed it in the Peacock version. I don't know if I remember seeing it in the Bravo version. In the Peacock version, I definitely saw when they were talking about inviting Jassi to Nevis, you see Angel say, oh, invite Charisse. I like her. But it was very innocent. She at no particular point say, don't invite Jassi. But later on, you see Gizelle being a manipulator and a ish starter, try to turn it around. And that's why you see that Angel is so confused. They're so confused. Arbella says, yes, they played the flashback. So I must have missed it. I don't know why I missed it. But I'm glad this is why I rewatched. Okay. Lovely says it was on the Bravo version too. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't remember seeing this last night. Okay. So if you saw it, then it was like, oh, well, no. Literally, I don't think Angel meant any harm at all. Adrian says, yeah, they showed it because I was surprised she liked Charisse. Well, they flash back to how Charisse and Angel have a mutual friend. Okay. So, later on we'll revisit that because Gizelle tries to start stuff in regards to that. Okay? So since Jassi was a last minute invite, there was no room for her in first class. Okay. So she's sitting in economy, and I love that Jassi in her confession was just like, it doesn't matter to me. The champagne in economy is the same as the champagne in first class. Yeah, but you have to pay for it in economy. But maybe she's not paying for it. Maybe Bravo's paying for it. But yeah. So she says that, she doesn't care. It doesn't bother her. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't bother her, especially if it was a last minute invite. Okay? So apparently they will be taking a yacht to Nevis, and they're staying at the Four Seasons there. Okay? So they're excited about that. Angel says that her goal is to get to know everyone and for everyone to get to know her. Okay? Stacey says that she reached out to Angel to welcome her, unlike some of the other women in this group. Didn't do for her. But so she kind of feels weird, like a weird energy from Angel, because she's like, I was one of the people that actually reached out to you to get to know you. All right? So as they're getting ready, they're waiting to board the catamaran. Okay, they're getting ready to board the catamaran. The young lady comes over and she says that, Angel, we're having a problem because you're wearing your bag is camouflage, and in the rules to go to Nevis, you can't have camouflage. And look, Ashley in her confessional is just like, did she not read the email? It clearly said it in the email. Look, I'm gonna give this to Angel. She was like, I'm bringing my Prada bag. She's not thinking that it's camouflage, and also she's mommy brain. She's got 2 young kids. I'm going to give it to her. But for them to make such a big deal about it, I'm like, calm down. So Tia's like, darling, you can put it in my bag. I have space. I have an empty bag. So they're like, do you normally bring an empty bag with you? It wasn't completely empty. It was just not full. But I don't blame her. Maybe she's thinking about the things that she's going to buy. Remember, it's her daughter's birthday while she's away. Maybe she's like, let me leave room. I might want to buy something while I'm in Nevis. It's actually pretty smart if you have it, right? I know the next time I go to Japan, I'm bringing an empty bag. Yeah, some good shopping in Japan. There's certain places you should bring an empty bag. Good shopping. Honestly, when I go to Europe, next time I go to Zara in Europe, you know how I feel about the Zaras in Europe. Bring an empty bag or buy a bag at Primark while you're over there in Europe. I did that when I went to London. Remember when I came through in December, almost a year ago? I ended up buying a suitcase because I filled it with stuff. Our Bless says, you are so gracious, Kempire, but she should read that email. But maybe she did and didn't pay attention. I don't know. Okay. Good point. Gigi, thank you for being a member, Gigi. Gigi says, I think I read that some cruise ships aren't allowing camouflage wear. Okay. And honestly, I have a camouflage little bag. I don't mind a little camouflage. I got little shorts that are camouflage. What's that? Oh, can I come, Adrian? Adrian says, Kempire, I'm going to Japan and Korea in January. Gonna call you later so you can tell me what to bring. An empty bag. And your winter coat, because very much weather that like we have here. I did a podcast episode about Japan, right? I know I did one on Portugal. Bring an empty bag and bring what you would wear here in New York during this time of the year, because it's basically the same weather. Oh, you're going to have a fantastic time. I'm jealous. I want to go. Okay. Miss Esquire says camo is the new neutral along with animal prints. I like a little camo. I really do. I have shorts that are camo. Okay. Funky says bring skincare. Excuse me? In Japan and Korea? No. You mean buy skincare when you're in Japan and Korea. Buy all the skincare stuff. Little face masks. Buy all of that. Thank you for the reminder, though. Bring. I know what you meant, Funk. No. You don't need to bring no skincare. Buy skincare when you're in Japan. And bring me back a face mask. Matter of fact, I already have some face masks. I brought that back as gifts. And also what you can get in Japan, like the little nail clippers, you can't get them. I mean, you could probably get them here. You're in New York. But, those are nice little gifts. Okay, let me focus. Okay, Mr. Melon Magic. I didn't feel the earthquake. I'm mad that you guys remember my trip more than any other trip than anyone else. Mr. Melon Magic, I remember there was an earthquake last time you were there in Japan. There was. I didn't feel it though. I didn't feel it, and there also was the fire at the airport. All these things were happening around me, but they didn't necessarily affect me. The fire did affect me because we had to fly from one airport to another airport to leave. Adrian says, it's my school trip. We're going to look at what real estate and affordable housing concepts they have that we can borrow over here. Oh, y'all definitely need to learn a thing or two from Japan because they actually know what they're doing over there. I mean, it's very small. Like, a lot of stuff is small, but yeah. Okay, let's focus. Okay, let's focus, y'all. We're digressing, but not really. All right, so that becomes an issue for her, but Tia helps her out, puts her camo bag in her travel case. At first, they were going to throw it in a garbage bag. Damn. Not a garbage bag. All right. So they end up talking about sucking balls. I didn't know how to cover that conversation. But I did love Stacey's response. She was like, Wendy, how dare you ask me about sucking balls? You're an academic. I thought that was funny. All right, so the ladies get on the catamaran. Mr. Bellman said fire at it happened like the day before I left, but it still affected the airport when I was leaving. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on when I was in Japan, but I was fine. I had a fantastic time. Didn't affect me at all. All right, so let's talk about them on the catamaran, y'all. Okay. So Wendy will be also celebrating her birthday while on this trip. And you remember her celebrating her birthday last year. And she kept on bringing it up. So I'm sure she'll be bringing it up throughout this Nevis trip. Can we believe that we're on, very much like Salt Lake City, on an international trip for their first trip? Because so many of you complain you're tired of them going to these bootleg places that are here in the States. So look, I wonder what was their big trip? Jamaica, right? Was it their big trip? What was their big trip this year for Potomac? I know we know because we saw it. I can't remember. You guys remind me. Ryan says. Ryan says, why am I Googling catamaran interiors? Okay. Kehlani says, she quotes Stacey. She's like, am I supposed to do that? Only if your man wants it, Stacey. I know you're watching. Hey, Stacey. Only if your man wants you to do that. Not all men enjoy that. You got to figure out if your man enjoys that. This is turning into Kempire After Dark. Okay. All right. Hold on. Pink Pop Star says the budget has gone up. Only because Karen's not there. Okay? Only because Karen's not there. I think they had some room in the budget this year. But I'm enjoying it. I like when we get to an island. Okay? Okay. So they're on the yacht. Gizelle brings up that Angel did not want Jassi to come. And I'm surprised they didn't flash back at that moment like they did before. We did not see Angel say that she didn't want Jassi to come because that's not what she said. She says, "Oh, I like invite Cherise. I like her, but does production like her?" Oh, Married to Medicine went to Jamaica. Where did they go? Where did Oh, yeah, they do go to Colorado at some particular point, but I think it's not for Jazz. Where was Jassi's wedding? I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I guess we will see. We will see when they finally go somewhere. But okay, if this is their only international trip this year, I'm like, damn, sad. All right. So Gizelle tries to start some trouble, and she brings up that Angel said that she did not want Jassi to come, but that's not what she said. And even Angel is surprised. Angel's like, I don't remember saying that. Honestly, Jassi, you should have just said, like, I never said that. Because obviously you don't have an issue with Jassi, but maybe you do because your friend has an issue with her. Wrong road. Exactly. She said to invite Cherise. I like her. Literally, that's what she said. But in Gizelle's messy mind, she read it. She read it as, oh, Angel doesn't like Jassi. Don't invite Jassi. Unless, okay, I'm gonna give some grace to Gizelle. Unless production is being messy and they edited out where Jassi says it. I don't think so though, because that would be juicy to keep in there. Hopefully. Okay. All right. Excuse me. All right. So Angel says she doesn't remember that. Jassi then brings up, she says that Keiarna was talking about Wendy like 6 months ago. So this leads to a back and forth between Wendy, Keiarna, and Jassi. Okay? Wendy says she's confused that Kay would talk about her because they had no issue then. She's like, your true colors are showing. That is pretty interesting that 6 months ago you're speaking all kinds of mess about Wendy to Jassi. So I have to agree with Wendy. It seems like you're projecting that there's some sort of issue. The fans already feel like Keiarna's reaching for some sort of issue. So, Keiarna says that Jassi was a side chick, but this is after when Jassi's just like, some hoes are mad that, that I'm here. And then she's like, I'm not a hoe. And she's like, you're a side chick. I'm paraphrasing. And she's like, I am not a side chick. I am a fiance. All right? Something that you will never be. I have to say, Jassi had that fire. Jassi had that fire that I was like, okay, Jassi's here to play. Assis says she gagged her with that one. Assis is watching on Twitch. Shout out to our Twitch fam. Guys, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. She gagged her. I mean, she's like, hoes is mad. She's like, oh, but you're a side chick. And she's like, no, I'm the fiance, something that you will never be. Yeah, Keiarna, you never gonna beat these allegations, girl. You're never gonna beat these allegations, and you're still riding with this man. Okay, and giving him cash to make it seem like he got it like that. Mm-hmm. So they have their back and forth. Wendy brings up Angel, and how she took a dig. Well, she felt like she took a dig at Jassi with the whole 10-year starter conversation. And Angel tries to downplay. She's like, I didn't mean it like that. Well, she brought up, her guys in football and that she's, that his position, and she asked about his position. So do we think that Angel was taking a dig? I'm going to give Angel some grace here, and I don't think that she was taking a dig. And she just said it. Okay? All right. So, again, this is where producers bring up Jassi's man being a bench warmer. And Angel really gives a very politically correct response. I was impressed with how she handled it in the confessional. But in the moment, not so much. So, then they go up, they between the back and forth, like it was watching like a ping pong. And again, all Keiarna and Jassi fighting. I'm like, what are you guys fighting about? Are you still fighting about what Wendy had told you? Is that what we're fighting about? Like, what is happening here? All right, so the ladies go upstairs and they're dancing, they're twerking on the catamaran, and Wendy makes comments about Stacey's twerk. She's like, it got worse. She's like, you've had a year to work on it. I think she has not worked on it, and I think that's just Stacey. I think Stacey leans into not being able to dance and just being awkward. I'm here for it. I don't know what that was, but here we are. All right. Oh, Andrea says, nope, that was a dig. I'm a football fan, and that was shade. Oh. Okay, see, only the football fans would know. I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. It went over my head. Miss Esquire, thank you for being a member. Miss Esquire says, a shade of him making hundreds of thousands of dollars and not putting his body on the line. Let's be for real. Boom. Boom. Just saying. You got a good point. Good point. All right, I forgot we had so many super chats. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. But don't forget, you can also support the channel just by liking today's video. You can also support the channel by supporting our fundraiser this month. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We still have a few more days. Thank you to every single person that's donated so far. We are so close. Can someone check on one of my last videos? Wait, actually, I can go check. Hold on. Because we are almost at our goal. Okay? So shout out to those of you that have already donated, but we're almost at our goal. We're not there yet, but we're trying to get to $3,000. Right now, we've raised over $2,345 for Black Women's Health Imperative. Thank you to everyone that has already donated to our charitable fundraiser. 100% of your donation goes to Black Women's Health Imperative. We already surpassed our previous fundraiser last year. We raised like $1,400 for Black Women's Health Imperative. We are so close to, I would love if we can go over $3,000, but we're close. We only have a few more days. We have this entire week to raise. Again, 100% of your donation goes to the organization. Thank you to everyone that has donated or shared our videos for other people to donate. If you're watching the replay of this, you'll see a donation option along the side or below if you're watching from your phone. So thank you to everyone that donated. Naza, thank you so much for the super chat. Naza says, I had really high hopes for Angel and she continues to disappoint me. I know, me too. Me too. BB, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. BB says, I couldn't be on reality TV. I barely remember people's names and I met last week, let alone if I knew you 20 years ago. I'd be offending everybody. Same. I'm telling you right now, I'm sure there are people that I went to college with that probably be like, oh yeah, I went to college with him. And if I saw them, I couldn't pick them out of a lineup. Especially as a commuter student, if you didn't live at the college too, that's even harder. There's probably a lot of people that were in my classes that I never spoke to. Noda Queen, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. She says, Tia said, I'm not the 1, the 2, or the 3. And since you can't count any higher, let's move on. Ooh, Noda Queen, I love that. BB, thank you so much for another super chat. She says, Wendy needs to learn from Tia how to snob with class. It's giving royal loftiness. I will say, I have the confessional look here because I specifically wanted to show it to you guys. Here it is. I want to show you this confessional look from Wendy because even the way that she sits in the confessional is giving royal regal, and I'm here for it. Even when she's speaking in this mode, she's just giving, I mean, I don't necessarily love the dress, but it looks beautiful. Her hair, skin, everything looks really great here. But even her delivery of her confessional is just giving royal regal. Personally, I love it. Just wanted to point that out. Guys, we're almost at 1,000 likes. We have, over 2,000 of you here, though. Can we get to 1,000 likes? I will drop the call-in link for our community once we get to 1,000 likes. But if you're a member of the channel, I will drop the call link for you guys. Let me do it now before I forget. If you're a member of the channel, it's not a part of the membership, but we do make it a little bit of a little perk for you guys. Shout out to those of you watching on X. We see you as well. We had quite a few videos and short form videos over the weekend. So in case you are catching up today, be sure to check all of that out here on the channel. And if you're watching on Twitch, head on over to one of those platforms, either my TikTok, but definitely my long form is available on YouTube. All right, so if you remember the channel, I dropped the call link for you guys as well. We are continuing to pray for our friends, family, and our community in Jamaica and every Caribbean island that's in the path of Hurricane Melissa. So let's continue to pray for everyone. Let me continue with these super chats. Erica, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. Erica says, Kempire, I think it's a regional because I'm in Alabama and near a lot of conservative ads unless I use my VPN. Yeah, it's all about the algorithm. It depends on where you are. If you're outside the country, you're definitely not going to hear them. But I have been working with my my podcast network in regards to ensuring that we have no political ads on our podcast. Hopefully, I'll get back to you. I haven't heard anything back yet. I just was working on that this morning. But thank you, Erica, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Zoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Zoe says, Nigerian humor is amazing. They are able to be funny in their tongue and in English. As a Zulu-speaking person, it's hard sometimes, so I catch myself having to be animated to get jokes across. I love it. And look, we've seen Nigerian humor before on reality television. It is top tier. And if you watch some like Nollywood stuff, just saying. Norma, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. She says, just here to pray, just here to say prayers for Jamaica. Thank you, Norma. Most definitely. And all the Caribbean islands that are still in the path after it goes through Jamaica between today and tomorrow. And they said it's slow moving. RC, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. RC says, Angel asked G to invite Charisse instead of Jazz. Angel asked Gizelle to invite Charisse instead of Jazz. I don't know if she did instead. She was like, oh, you should invite, because that's not the way that I took it, but it could be that way too. Maybe, obviously that's the way Gizelle took it. Okay.
Welcome to Finally Caught, a true crime podcast from the hit North American and UK television series.
I saw the one girl with her throat cut and her abdomen stabbed and slashed.
It's a gruesome sight.
Bloodstains on the bed, wall.
This is just the beginning of the journey. Each episode details a horrific murder and subsequent investigation in order to capture the killer at large. For the newly released first season of Finally Caught, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Amy, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Stacey is in charge of the girls. She is the key. Ooh, don't tell them that, because they're going to keep coming for her. Katie, thank you so much for the super chat. Katie says that was a dig because Jassi didn't ask her about Rob. Gary, thank you so much for being a member. Gary says, and thank you for the super chat. Gary says, to me, Jassi's relationship digs at Keiarna fell flat considering her own situation. She came in seeming like she was trying too hard. Yeah, it's definitely given that they were fighting over a flute. And we also know that Darius is not a prize. But she wants to make it seem. But I will say she was quick with it, though. She didn't stutter. Regardless of his history and the two babies, she was like, I am a fiance. Something that you wish that you were. I don't know if that fell flat for me. It didn't fall flat for me. Queen T, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen T says, you can't tell these women nothing because they telling. And that's part of the job. So I don't really take it that deep in regards to them talking about certain things that were said. It's a part of the job, unfortunately. In real life, is it something that I would want done to me by a friend? No. Or in a friend group? No. Keith, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Keith says they keep trying to bring Charisse and her Lego-shaped wigs on this show. Angel and Jacqueline are the reasons you don't recommend real friends to join. Damn. Well, I think it's more so production doesn't invite Charisse. And that's why they invited Jassi. Ari, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Ari says the girls are picking on Angel because she's an easy target. Ashley and Jizzy are giving mean girls. I felt so bad about that over-edited pic. We're about to get there, Ari. Oof, nice new picture, Ari. Beautiful. Our community is beautiful. Okay. Where was I? Let me get back to my notes, guys, so that we can get through this. So they have their yachting experience. They arrive at the Four Seasons Hotel. Gizelle does the room assignments. Before she even does the room assignments, you see her, I think she was talking with Ashley, right? And this is where Gizelle and Ashley are working overtime this season. So she already said, we're going to have to talk about Angel's picture. So she's already setting it up. So for those that get mad at Wendy laughing when Gizelle says it, I think Wendy was caught off guard. Like and also she doesn't like Angel because of the interactions that they've had recently. But keep in mind, I think I was also, because I don't remember in the watching it last night, Ashley and Gizelle saying that. I'm doing multiple things, taking notes, and tweeting. So when she said it, I was just like, oh no, like where did that come from? I mean, we also saw the preview. So when I saw the preview, I was just like, what? Like, where did that come from? But this is where we see when they arrive to the hotel, Gizelle is already setting up like she's going to ask about that later. All right. So Gizelle does the room assignments, and Wendy, Stacey, and Jassi are in the same villa, and they get so excited. Was anyone else excited for them? I like the fact that they were so excited to be in the same room together. And then Ashley's going to share with Gizelle, and Angel and Keiarna are going to be together. And I was sort of like, just when the camera panned to them, I was like, I mean, they like each other and they're friends, so that's fine. But they both look so like, they're like, That's what it was giving for me. All right. So Gizelle writes special notes for all the ladies, and they read the notes. And look, am I surprised that Gizelle is going to be a good host? No, she is a Virgo. So she's paying attention to details. She did not pay for this trip. She did not choose this trip, but she is a part of the planning of this trip. And the little notes that she left for all the ladies except Stacey were beautiful, honestly. When they read the notes, I was like, oh, that was really sweet, Gizelle. You got to give Gizelle credit when credit is due. I thought it was really thoughtful and sweet. She had the embroidered robes and little toiletry bag. Very thoughtful. Okay? So, then Stacey notices that she got a blank card. And then they ask her, why did Stacey get a blank card? She's like, I don't know Stacey anymore. She also did not get an embroidered robe, and the robe was a large. Here's the thing. I'm here for these pre-produced funny moments. It's the reasoning that was so forced to me. Like the forced issue that these women are trying to have with Stacey. It was just like, my thing is Stacey and Gizelle, remember during the last trip they shared space together? It was like this quirky frenemy situation, almost like a Karen and Gizelle moment. I wish she would just leaned in and just like, just because I know it's going to bother Stacey, that's why I did it. Not because Stacey is not, I don't know who she is. Really? I would have found it more funny if she, first of all, had a backup with actually Stacey's name and toiletry bag. And in that moment, just as like, because I know it's going to bother her. Like, it's just a joke. But it gave more like, oh, because I don't know who Stacey is. We don't know who you are, Gizelle. You, of all people, can't sit here and act like we know your true story. Because you give pre-produce, avoid the situation, manipulator of the group. So for me, the reasoning is why it didn't land. Jenna says large is big. And we know that Stacey's a small woman. No matter what Ashley wants to, Ashley referred to herself as pocket size. I took that as a dig. Didn't y'all take that as a little bit dig when she said that at the Preakness situation? He's like, I'm pocket size. Okay, girl. Because remember, she also talked about Stacey's feet being big. We haven't forgotten. So again, I feel like she could have made a funny moment, and she made it seem like, oh, because she doesn't know who Stacey is. Yet we still do not know who you are. After all these years, some people were shocked that you even had a sister. They're like, she has a sister? Yes, she does. Crystal says that Gizelle used ChatGPT to write those notes. It wasn't giving that. I actually thought those notes were actually really heartfelt and sweet, in my humble opinion. But that's me. All right. So anyway, before the dinner scene, was there anything else that I wanted to say? Oh, wait, there is. I don't want to miss anything. All right, and I still will miss stuff. Again, for those that don't watch the episode, you only watch my recap. Sorry to you, but I usually cover like 99% of everything. So Angel, in her scene with Keiarna, they're commiserating. That's exactly what it looked like. They were commiserating in their villa. Okay, they are not going to have a good time in that villa. And Keiarna's probably upset that she has to share a room with the newbie. Very similar to what happened with Wendy and Keiarna in that situation. And Wendy's like, I'm not sharing with her. That's the way it felt. Like, she's like, I'm by myself with the newbie. This is not good. They were like commiserating with each other. So Angel says Wendy did not talk to her at all in the airport. I'm so glad that production rolled the tape, because Angel, now it's giving forced. Because even at the airport, you were talking about how Wendy was, and look, Wendy could have been standoffish to her. At this particular point, after everything that went down, do you blame Wendy for being standoffish with Angel, I don't blame her. Because Gizelle brings up the mess at Keiarna's home, and you're mad at me for bringing up what you said, because you had a very different energy during the shopping situation. And now it's like, oh, I apologize to you. So she commiserates with Keiarna and says that, she was very standoffish and da-da-da-da-da. Okay. And then they flash back and you see Wendy greet and hug Angel at the airport. Bridget says that Angel's been forcing it. Brenda says, excuse me, y'all. The robe thing was nasty mean girl stuff under any circumstance. I think it wouldn't have landed as Mean Girl if she had the backup, meaning like she had Stacey's robe and she actually had everything for Stacey. But in that moment, because she knows it's going to upset Stacey, that again at dinner she could be like, Stacey, I was just playing with you, girl. Here's your thing. But they want to produce. They want to go with this whole narrative that Stacey isn't who she says she is, even though that's you projecting. Jamie says, Angel, get it together, girl. She should have remembered her mommy brain vitamins because, girl, you bugging. Ooh, not mommy brain vitamins. Lord. I think she purposely did not want to give Wendy that. Kadia? Is that how you pronounce it? Or I'm just going to go Katie? I don't know. Thank you for the super chat. Wendy and Stacey were so cute together this episode. You can see that they have each other's back, but they're doing it in a good way, unlike Keiarna and Angel, where it seems forced. You could see them sort of playing tennis with each other and sort of having each other's back on certain things or bringing certain things up for the other person. I noticed it. I'm glad you did too. Teach, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Teach says, Angel feels like Kay's lapdog. I'm glad production is posting receipts. I agree. It needed to be done because I would have been. But honestly, even if they didn't show it, I could understand why Wendy would not see it for Angel after what happened at the condo. But anyway, let's get to the dinner. Right? Let's get to the dinner. Oh, sidebar. No. Speaking of Wendy, because Wendy, I got you, girl. Not in a good way. So when they talk about what Gizelle is doing to Stacey, and she's like, I know what Gizelle does. She's done it to me. But she was just like, at this particular, it's not happening to me. So basically she doesn't care. And I'm like, really? If anything, you should be able to have Stacey's back, especially now. Now you should definitely have Stacey's back because she's riding with you. But she's just like, it happened to me. It's almost like, but again, we have to think about this. She's also from a sorority, some of that whole hazing mentality. So it wouldn't surprise me that she's like, I went through my hazing period. You got to go through yours. Damn. Rough out here in these streets. Let's get to the dinner scene. And shout out to, do we have any members backstage already? Let me look. I didn't even look. Oh, damn, the members. Okay, everyone gets 30 seconds today, y'all. Everyone gets 30 seconds. Please respect the timer or you will just get cut off because I want to be able to get, and this is just members. Members is full backstage. And we haven't even dropped the call-in link. Once we get to 1,000 likes, I will drop the call-in link for the general audience. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac for those that are just joining us. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, make sure you're listening to all of our episodes because there are certain episodes like the Braxton family, the Braxtons recap that I did. I added a bonus to that particular podcast episode, so be sure to check that out. And we also have Club Kempire on the Apple Podcasts app, but you can also access it via the Apple website. Okay, so be sure to subscribe to the Kempire podcast. All right, let's get to this dinner scene so I can get to the callers because I've been talking for an hour and 34 minutes. All right, so Tia, before we even get to dinner, Tia calls and checks on her daughter because it's her daughter's birthday, and she talks about missing her daughter's birthday before, and it used to be a big deal to her. So now it's not a big deal because they were fine without her the first time she met it. First time she missed their birthday. Okay, so but she calls to see how her daughter's doing, and in her birthday, her son is upset. He's the only boy in the house. his father, who grew up on the south side of Chicago, was like, you baby him too much. He's going to be a mama's boy. He is a mama's boy. I felt for him, but I loved how Tia was so like tongue-in-cheek with him, because he's like, I hate this family. I want to be adopted. Danielle, go sit down. Danielle says, team Green Eye Bandits, team hazing. You are not. She's trolling you guys. Ignore Danielle. She's trolling all of you in the chat, okay? Team hazing. We are not over here, okay? But I love seeing Tia basically like just pick at her son. She's like, why would you want to be adopted? I'd miss you. She was like, and he wants to be adopted because they want him to clean. He's like, I had to clean on my birthday. I fell for her son. Okay. Exactly. Rosada says, when the son calls you bro, these kids nowadays. And so she's like, well, I would hate for you to be adopted. You know, please try not to get adopted before I come back on Sunday. I love her sense of humor, and that this is the same sense of humor that she's giving to her own kids. It's like this dark, it's like British humor. It's not even dark. I don't even like to call it dark. It's like dry British humor. So I thought it was a cute scene. I wanted to mention it. All right. So they get to dinner. Stacey asks Kay if, how's her and Greg doing and if they're back together. And she's like, yeah, we're back together. Blah, 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 blah. Stacey says that she's confused because when Kay starts, we're in a cordial place. And Stacey's like, we are? Because literally we saw in the Sprinter for Preakness, like Kay had all this energy for her. So genuinely, Stacey's confused. She's like, are we in a cordial place? Are we? Like, what's going on there? So Angel says that, because it leads to a conversation about Angel. Angel says that it's a mixed bag in this group when it comes to people trying to get to know her. All right. And then Tia's doing her job as a housewife. She brings up the fact that she doesn't see Angel and Wendy having conversations or interacting. One thing I will give Tia, it seems as if because she's a newbie, she is very protective of Angel as well, but not in like a weird alliance like Kay. I see her have Angel's back multiple times, especially when they start talking about the picture. She's like, guys, she just gave birth like 19 months ago. I appreciate Tia coming in and chiming in when necessary. Okay. So, but Tia brings up the fact that she doesn't see Wendy and Angel speaking. So Angel says that she felt attacked by Wendy's question at Keiarna's condo. Wendy says, I asked a simple question. And Wendy says she feels like there's a concerted effort to villainize her. And I was like, I have to agree with Wendy. That's the way it feels. Even in the edit. So the fact that she points that out says to me, the edit is not far from right, far from wrong. Whatless says that Angel stop listening to KK mindset is childlike. Yeah. And I think that's going to be her downfall of her first season. Exactly. Funky says that I like how T is a friend to Angel. That friendship's not the foolishness Kay is pulling. Yeah. And I'm glad that we are able to see both, because you can see that there is a difference and how you can support a friend, but at the same time, not be in support of stupidness and stupidity or just things that don't make sense or reach. So, so Angel says she felt attacked. Wendy says she feels like there's a concerted effort to villainize her. Gizelle decides to take this moment to segue to bringing up Angel's pictures on social media. Because she's like, I'm seeing these pictures on social media. I recognize Tia, but I didn't recognize you. And she's like, look, we get it. Filters and things like that. Wendy's the queen of filters. And Wendy's like, she points to Gizelle. She's like, she doesn't deny it. She doesn't deny it. Some people get heavy-handed with the filters and the Facetune of it all. Lisa Hochstein from Real Housewives of Miami. She definitely goes overboard with the filters and all of that. Dawn Richard, too. Look, I've done it too. I'm like, I just don't post though. Oh, you get into the thing and you're like, okay, you look ridiculous. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a fun game, like coloring. All right? It's relaxing to face tune of it all. But you guys see me all the time, so you see what this face look like. There ain't no face tune going on over here. Good lighting too, though. Good lighting's important. Let me take a sip. So Gizelle decides to bring that up. Angel says that those pictures, the specific picture in question, is not filtered. Angel, let me hold your hand, girl. You should have just owned it. But Angel, in her confessional, because she's a confessional gangster, in her confession is like, well, some of these ladies that are laughing along with Gizelle, again, here she goes again, not having the energy. And this was something that Wendy pointed out. I noticed you don't have the same energy for the other women that you have for me. Wendy pointed that out. And every single time we see examples of that. So in her confessionals, some of these ladies that find it funny at the table had to go on they were so insecure that they had to go on the operating table to look like a permanent Instagram filter. Well, at least that's some good work. Wendy looks amazing. Whatever work Wendy has had done, not that one. Hold on. What? That's some good work. I don't remember everything that she had done, but the body is snatched. Girls, you should have just owned it. So they start going, I had to go to Angel's page. I was like, wait, is it just this particular picture? Okay. And there weren't a lot of necessarily overly filtered or overly face-tuned photos for the most part. But maybe she decided to take those down before the show aired. Very possible. But some that were in question that they posted up were still there. I feel like the one that they showed, the first one they showed, and there was another one, looked very filtered. But, they had the AI generated where you can, if you don't have makeup on, you could put makeup on your face or something like that. So I wish she would have just owned it. Just own it, girl. You're a beautiful woman. That was her problem. So, she decides in that moment to take a dig at Wendy instead of the person who decided to bring it up at the table. Okay. I don't know. Yonette says, that's a good filter. Dina says, Angel pinches that nose. Yeah. Look, yeah. Okay. I wish she would have just owned it. I would have respected her more if she just owned it. I still think she's a beautiful woman, but I wish she would have owned it. Gracie says, good for Wendy laughing. Angel has been poking her since episode 1. Can you be mad? Can you be mad? You shouldn't be. Simply Susie says, episode was boring and I'm tired of grown-ass women not learning how to support each other. It's ridiculous. That's a read. Thank you, Queen T, for another super chat. Queen T says, I was like, Harpo, who this woman? You saw when Ashley said that in her confessional? It doesn't land the same. I was like, okay, Ashley. Not Harpo, who this woman? Ari, thank you so much for another super chat. Ari says Wendy's cackle makes matters worse, antagonizing. But I actually like her laugh. I think her laugh makes it funnier and shadier. I actually would like that laugh instead of this one in the soundboard. Stay tuned. Taurus with the T, thank you so much for the super chat. Taurus with the T says Ashley can call out Angel's camo bag issue, but thought that Nevis was a part of the Bahamas. I was about to say the same thing. But Bahamas, Bermuda, she needs to use her sugar baby money to better her education and not to enhance her subpar looks. Damn, Taurus with the T. Gary, thank you so much for another super chat. Gary says, I think it was actually the producers that shaded Wendy during the plastic surgery moment. They could have shown almost everyone at the table laughing out loud. Agreed, because they did show Wendy. But remember, that was part of Wendy's storyline. If Mia was there, they could have shown Mia. But that was a part of Wendy's storyline. So I didn't necessarily take it as shade, but we know who Angel was talking about. Come on, let's not sit here and play semantics. Okay? We know who Angel was talking about because it was Wendy that laughed. It was her and Wendy. She's been coming for Wendy since go. So we know exactly who she was talking about. Let's be honest. I will say this though. I don't think enough people are talking about. Did y'all see how Gizelle looked? Gizelle looked good. Did you see Giselle's body? Her waist was snatched. The hair and makeup was looking good. I was like, Gizelle looks good. All right. No, just me? Fine. Mr. Melon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Melon Magic says, that pic wasn't of Angel. That was Demon. Damn. You guys are harsh. T says, Angel was shading Wendy, the only person she has energy for. Okay. Miss Parker says, Angel is determined to have beef with Wendy. Kay put that battery in her back and she took off running. She took off running. Stop. All right. So they have their whole back and forth in regards to Angel swears that it's not a filter. Okay, girl. So Wendy calls out Angel's tone, which we already talked about. And she says she has a very different tone when it comes to the other women. And it's clear. It's very obvious. Again, you don't have to love, hate, be Team Wendy to see what's happening here. Okay? Gizelle then answers, because Wendy brings this up. This is where I see clear signs of Wendy and Stacey having each other's back. So Wendy brings up the fact that Gizelle did not embroider or send a note to Stacey. So Stacey was like, yeah, so what was that about? And then Giselle's like, I don't know who you are. That's why I did it. Again, I wish in that moment, Gizelle would have just been like, I knew it would affect you and I knew you'd be mad. Here you go, girl. I was just playing with you. That I would have liked more than double downing on, I don't know who you are. Gizelle, that's not a read that you can come out with. We don't even know who you are. People say that every day when it comes to Gizelle. We don't know who you are. We still do not believe that you and Pastor Jamal reunited, rekindled. Okay? We don't believe that at all. And since then, you've brought all these fake and phony relationships on the show that we don't believe. Speaking of fake and phony relationships, Stacey, girl, you coming for Gizelle did not land the way that at least I don't feel like it landed, because I thought maybe you would have gotten more concrete evidence, more information as to who she's dating. But she decides to bring up, she was like, you guys are always talking about my relationship. Let's talk about your relationship. So apparently Gizelle went on a date with Sean Spriggs, and she apparently is still talking to him, but she's got a roster. But you can see Ashley has Giselle's back. So she decides like, oh yeah, this is how she met him, blah, 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 blah. For me, Stacey, you bringing this up didn't land. Because we know Giselle's out here single and mingling. I can appreciate you bringing it up, but it didn't land for me. But what would have landed? Like, you guys are so busy trying to know about me and my relationship. But what's going on with you? Who are you dating? Let's worry about that. And you sitting here saying that you don't know anything about it. We don't know who you're dating. So apparently she's gone on dates with him. She has other people that she's considering. Maybe. Well, good for you, Gizelle. Good for you. But I will say this. I think we are going to get tired of seeing Gizelle and Ashley this season trying to move the storyline with the other women. Because it's giving force, it's giving like you're being a producer, it's giving that there's nothing going on with you personally. And even if there isn't anything going on with you personally, in those moments, you can't even just be yourself and have a good time and be funny and be fun. It's giving like, I have to move the story along. I have to produce something. I have to produce drama. Brenda says, Kempire, your suggestion would have cleared it so that they could all laugh about the so-called joke, and now it's over. But that's exactly what Tia did with her issue with Ashley. Okay, Sonia says it's not a yacht. It's transportation from St. Kitts to Nevis, provided by the hotel. It's just to get you from point A to point B.
Lies. The lie.
Are we shocked that Gizelle lied? No, because it definitely wasn't giving yacht. It looked cramped. And look, if they had just said, we need a boat, we're taking the boat over, I think that would have been fine. But they said yacht. But again, it's a short ride. The villa though, the villas were beautiful. Okay, I like the fact that we're away and we're on a trip over the weekend. You know what I did? I started rewatching season 1 of Ultimate Girls Trip, Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It was good. The Cynthia Bailey of it all. Interesting. Interesting. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Nicole says, women who claim they're boss ladies like Angel, but when confronted, they cower down. Being the loudest about it coming into the group is a red flag. I had high hopes for Angel. I really did. All right, we're going to get to the callers. Guys, you're just joining us. We're talking about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. We're going to take some callers. Please keep in mind, the callers' opinions do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors. All right? Everything that they say is of their opinion and alleged, and they agree to abide by the 30-second timer so that we're able to get to everyone. I've already been live for almost 2 hours talking myself. All right? So I'd like to go take a bathroom break and get out of here. Nubian says it was a commuter boat. Just Kelly says, not a barge. Oh, y'all are the best. Okay. All right, let's get to the callers. All right, Jenna's backstage. We're going to bring Jenna up first. Hold on, Jenna. Jenna, what did you want to share?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kemp. So I want to respect the 30-second timer. And I actually wanted to talk about the Temple University of it all because I'm from Philly, as some of y'all know, TU, Cherry and White. And I didn't go to Temple, but I lived right down the street. So Temple is nowhere near HBCU, like people are saying, but it's also like in a super black neighborhood. It's very much in the hood. And so like, even if it didn't have like a lot of black student body, it's surrounded by black people. And I also think some of the numbers that people brought up skewed the perception of how many black people actually go to Temple because it's actually, sorry to finish up my thought, it's actually trending a little higher with more black students now. And you have to also take into account the students of color. Now, Wendy may have went there like over 10 years ago. My sister also went there and she's 10 years older than Wendy. But there's always been a very strong black contingent at Temple University, and probably because of the area it's in and it's past alumni, it always will be. So I just wanted to bring up the higher education of it all and say hi.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Bye.
No problem. Bye-bye.
All right. Excuse me. Let's bring up Noda Queen. Noda Queen, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. I just wanted to say, I think that Gizelle doing that whole card and robe thing with Stacey was so rude and hostile for no reason. And I agree with you that her little notes were heartfelt, but I think that all of that was only done just to make Stacey feel excluded. Like the robes, everything, because it's Gizelle. Like, we have to be serious about that lady. I don't think she meant any of it. I think it was all to make Stacey feel some type of way. And also, and trick you out your spot. Stop following that girl. Have a good one.
Thanks, Noda Queen. Damn, that makes it even worse. Damn. Yeah, because then everyone has their little heartfelt message. Aww. Maybe by the end of the trip, she will do something for us, Stacey. Aww. All right, Ariana's backstage. Ariana, what did you want to share?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
I enjoyed the episode. I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10. You can really tell though that like Gizelle and Ashley are working hard. It worked this time, but I can tell that later on in the season it's not going to work. Like once the new girls get their footing. But Angel with those pictures, the editing is so overdone. They're low quality pictures that she's editing, like super high. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know why she thought she could lie like that. But that's all.
Thanks so much, Ariana. Bye. For those that are backstage, please drop out if you already spoken so that other people can call in because we have a very full backstage. All right, so let me bring up Angel next. Angel, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I am loving Tia. I think she is bringing a different side to this season that is refreshing, and she is bringing more than Ashley and Gizelle have brought in the last 2 seasons so far because they offer us nothing. And then you were being too nice to Angel because Angel is a liar and she is messy and she's not even a good liar. Like, she's hiding behind I'm namaste and I'm best friends with Kay and you have not gotten to know me, but it's BS. She is messy and she's caught in it and she's not even standing on it. So that's all. I don't want to get to know you, Angel, because you're full of it.
Thanks, Angel. Well, like that's the real Angel right there. Ooh. All right. We have O'Shea backstage. O'Shea, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. You know what I realized last night, and I think people may throw stones at me, but I realized that Wendy is just like Sutton, well, without the money, but the whole personality and pick-me behavior, I see it. When she was crackling with Gizelle, I'm like, you were on your pulpit preaching for the past 5 years, and now it's not your problem. And now it's a joke. And that's why, like, I will give grace to Angel because I'm like, I would also go after Wendy if that was the case. If you are the person who has been on the pulpit for 5 years and Gizelle has been miserable. I mean, she's always like that. I'm like, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Thanks.
Thanks, O'Shea. The only reason why I can't ride with Angel is because you don't have the energy for the people that are actually bringing the issue to you. And I agree with O'Shea that Wendy, of all people, she literally, that's why I kind of side-eyed her when she confirmed, like, you know, this is what's happening to Stacey is what happened to me with Gizelle. But she's like, it's not happening to me, so whatever. You know what I mean? So that's where I can't rock with her. But when it comes to the Angel of it all, Angel, your energy is for the wrong person. All right, Zoe's backstage. We're going to bring Zoe up next. For those that are in the live chat, I just dropped the call-in link for everyone. So now everyone else can call in, but everyone's getting 30 seconds. Okay? All right, and bring up Zoe. Zoe, what did you want to share?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial, but would I be wrong if I said Kay and Angela are behaving in a very aggressive manner? And if someone dared to say they are being aggressive, the whole charism conversation would have to go on again because we all have to find nice ways to disrupt their behavior without saying the words. But from what I have seen so far, they have been extremely, extremely unnecessarily aggressive and dare to say somebody calls it out. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Thank you, Zoe. All right, Gary's back there. Just bring Gary up next. Gary, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kemp.
Hey.
I am loving seeing the sorors getting along this season. When Wendy brought up that she thinks Angel didn't graduate and Gizelle just paused and looked at her before she started cackling, I started laughing out loud. Gizelle leaving Stacey's card blank and not customizing her robe is classic housewives behavior. We saw the same thing when Sheree didn't put Nene on the list to get into the party that one season, and it became an iconic moment. So I don't know why people are talking about the mean girl behavior. Save it. Stacey thought she was going to have a huge moment at dinner when she did that whole Gizelle dating thing, and they hit the Uno reverse on her and hit her with the new news. And Wendy's screaming took me over the edge. And I'm with Danielle. I like Gizelle this season. Y'all be blessed.
Oh, bye, Gary. All right. Miss Sharon's backstage. We're going to bring Miss Sharon up next, but 1 second. Let me just say thank you, Chef Lorraine. Thank you so much for Super Chat. Chef Lorraine says, I can see those pics. I can see those pics being of Angel. Let's leave Miss Chef Lorraine. Let's leave her alone. She just had a baby. And even I'm not even talking about her body. It's the face that you could see that's been filtered or face tuned. All right. Let me bring up Miss Sharon next. Hold on, Miss Sharon. There we go. Miss Sharon, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Hey, you know the favorite part of my show was, don't you?
Yes.
When Angel got on Jassi about her husband. That was my favorite part. I said, girl, was you listening to me? I believe Angel's been watching your show and she heard what I had to say. Yeah, but she clocked that. I'm like, girl, that was low-key shade. I'm like, go ahead on. But also, Gizelle, please quit buying those $35 wigs because Giselle's hair is really pretty when she's on the podcast.
Oh,
so I don't know what's going on with that. It is. It's really pretty. I don't know if it's all her hair or pieces, but it's really nice. What she does on the show is awful. But
okay,
that's basically what I had to say. Oh, and another thing, Kempire, before I go, sorry, people, but I have to let you know this. Darius, I found out he's no longer with the
Dallas.
He's no longer with Dallas. He's with New England Patriots.
That's a winning team, right?
Huh?
That's a winning team.
It used to be.
Damn.
But check this out. He's still a bench warmer.
Oh, no.
He's on the practice team, Kempire.
Wait, say it again. Say it one more time, Miss Sharon.
Darius is still a bench warmer. He's still on the practice team. And if Jassi has any money, she's supporting him because he don't make that much money on the practice field. No, he don't. So Jassi is supporting him and his 3 kids or 2 kids or how many other kids he got.
You're right, because I lost count.
Yeah.
Damn.
And she probably paid for that whole wedding because he don't have no money like that.
Damn.
Now clock that. Angel, did you hear me, honey?
But wait a second, Miss Sharon, before you go. Okay, so he's not making money, but he did when he was a part of that other team. What was it, Kansas?
Right? Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, he was a bench warmer.
But he got a ring though, right?
He still got a ring because he was sitting on the bench. Like I told you, if you would have been a water boy, you would have got a ring too, Kempire.
Damn it, I should have been a water boy.
There you go. You should have did something in sports and you would have got a ring as well.
Damn. Well, we appreciate you, Miss Sharon, because they obviously are listening to when you call in.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care, bye. Oh,
Bye.
you know they're gonna use that against her. You know, Angel's like, he's still warming the bench. I will say Angel was very gracious when the producers were being messy in the confessional. She gave a very politically correct answer. Well, damn. So he's at the practice team over there in the new. See, I didn't know. I thought he was still in Dallas. So now they've moved him to warm another bench in New England? Damn. Isn't Jassi a flight attendant? Nothing wrong with a flight attendant. My sister's a flight attendant. But okay. Beyonce. All right. Let me get to the rest of these callers, guys. This is going to be a long recap. All right. Let's bring up Cynthia next. Cynthia, what's going on? What did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
Oh, well, how you doing?
Fine. Good episode. My favorite part, you know what, Kempire, before I even continue, I'm not really seeing it for Angel. I think she's doing too much with her and Wendy. Mm-hmm. And did you see the part where when Wendy was talking with Angel, like kind of like confronting her about the issues that they're having? Did you see how Wendy was adjusting her straps? Did you?
No, I didn't pay attention to that. Okay, now I can't hear you.
Yeah, you could tell that she was really, really irritated. But other than that, good episode. I'll keep watching.
All
Thanks,
right.
Kempire.
Thanks, Cynthia. All right. Hold on. RC, thank you so much for the super chat. RC says, not true. NFL minimum wage is about $485,000. He does have money. Well, maybe she's saying in comparison to what the others are making. MH said the same thing. He's making about $895,000 for doing nothing. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. He's making at least $400K. They are good. Okay. All right. Faith might be Jassi under. I'm playing. All right. I mean, he might luck out. I mean, if you're not playing and you're not getting hurt, the AC, tee up it all. Okay, just saying. All right. Tyler's backstage. Let's bring Tyler up next. Tyler, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hi, Kempire. I want to say this. Stacey just dodged Gizelle's wrath last year because she was told by the producers to play nice, and she was more focusing on mending relationships. That's all. I will say this. Ashley's going to drag this all season because Ashley is the one that we all know really should go. I think Gizelle is just carrying her friend as she's done with Robin in the past. Wendy deserves every read she's going to get. It just proves the point that you always wanted to be in with the it girls. And I don't understand why, because Gizelle has no fashion, no nothing. And how is it that Gizelle... Oh, well, Gizelle rolled out a carpet that looks better than anything that's in that checkerboard house. That's all. Thank you.
Well, that's probably because it doesn't belong to her. All right. April Aries is backstage. April Aries, what did you want to share about Potomac?
Good afternoon, Kempire. How are you?
I'm doing well. Go ahead.
Okay, so I do feel like Keiarna and Angel, they can be like aggressive in like how their mannerisms. I do agree with the past caller. I'm gonna give Stacey A- for effort for spinning it back on Gizelle. So hopefully she can, Uno reverse it back when they bring up that Chris Samuels tease. And I did enjoy the episode, and that's all I had to say. Enjoy your day, Kempire.
Thank you, April Aries. And thank you for the reminder, because the other element that we didn't talk about, what happens at the end of this week's episode, is the fact that Ashley brings up the Chris Samuels of it all, and she accuses Stacey of trying to get with Chris Samuels. Because when they start talking about, when Stacey brings up Gizelle and her dating this NFL player, and I think it was Jassi, was like, oh, so you're a wag now? They say anybody else here has dated someone that was an NFL player, and you see Stacey fixing her wig, and she's like, Ashley's like, you ain't answering Stacey. So that's when they bring up the Chris Samuels of it all, and then Wendy has a big reaction. Again, I feel like this is just Wendy's reaction, so I don't feel like it's necessarily shade. She's just like, what? So again, I don't know why this is such a big deal. I don't know why Chris is single. She doesn't even know Monique. And we don't know the timeline. If she was like actively, like right now, trying to get with Chris Samuels, and she is trying to get back with her ex. But even if she was trying to get back with her ex, she's still single. When Gizelle said it herself, you're single until you're married. So I didn't land for me, but they're coming for Stacey left and right. V said, deduct insurance, taxes, salaries, manager, agent, housing, 2 extra kids, and child support, and trying to give Jassi what she wants. Well, yeah, all that money's gone. All right. Look, I don't know. I didn't imagine. I just feel like that's going to be used against her when it comes to if she decides to come for Angel. But okay. Sunrise is backstage and bring Sunrise up next. Sunrise, what did you want to share about Potomac?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
Okay, I'm trying to make it quick. I'm going to just run it down real quick.
Yes.
We got Jassi and Keiarna, or Kay, whatever her name is. Both of y'all men are two in the same. They both in the same boat. Neither one of us no good. You got Ashley and Gizelle. Both of them look like they shop at a flea market. Ashley, when she came out with that pastel Easter egg that busted up on that at the end of that show, was a mess. They're coming for Stacey, talking about Chris. Chris is single. Monique threw him away. And if Stacey wanted to be with him, that's Stacey's business and not theirs. Ashley need to worry about her professional with that little wig that looked like she found it at a flea market. And one thing I can say, I'm sorry, Kim, if I'm going to keep going over. Angela coming for Wendy, but you didn't come for Gizelle and Ashley when Wendy was sitting up there saying the same things that they was thinking at that same point. So take a chill pill, girl, and come back again later. That's all I got.
Thank you, Sunrise. Jermaine says, please bring Karen back. RHOP is struggling. I'm telling you, that's the word on the street over there in Potomac, too. Word on the street, the cast kind of felt that, too, as well during the season. That's why I say you're going to see Gizelle and Ashley working overtime this season. And you're going to get annoyed by it. But is it their fault, or is it the fault of the newbies not really bringing it? I blame casting. All right, Keith's backstage. Keith, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. So I'm going to try to make it really short and sweet. So first of all, Gizelle, honestly, she can't help but to be a mean and messy person. Like, this probably explain why it looked like she buys her wigs at Sally's Beauty, because every messiness come with an inch of devilish behavior and a devilish reaction. And also, I wish Candace was back so she can call out her neck, and Karen was back so she can be able to call out Giselle's lackluster relationships. But also, Ashley, I have to say, what are you even doing here? You've been focusing on your divorce for the past 3 years. We didn't care. You're currently single. We don't care. You're probably going to get married in the next few years. We still won't care. So please leave this show. If not for me, then at least for the greater humanity of all of Bravo people, because I think if we did a poll, it would be 99% that we want you gone. But that's about it.
Thanks, Keith. Damn. I mean, I agree. All right, Joceline's backstage. Hold on. Jocelyn, what's going on?
Hey, Kemp, how are you?
Oh, well, how you doing?
Good. Okay, I got my little points.
Okay.
First of all, I feel bad for Angel. I think that this kind of reminds me of the whole NECA of it all. It is difficult to assimilate and get in with this group, and I think the dynamics can be difficult for someone who's never done anything like that. Even if you've watched it, it's different being in it. So I really do feel bad for Angel, and I think that she's just overly scrutinized, and that's what I don't like. And Stacey on Watch What Happens Live, she did really good. She looked great. She did really good. Last thing, I'm tired of Gizelle and Ashley. They could go somewhere.
Ooh, thank you, Jocelyn. All right. Hold on. Let me say thank you, Noda Queen. Thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Noda Queen says, if they're using the stale Chris Samuels tea to bring Monique back, then she can return her little check and stay home. And I think that's what happens, because apparently she will be coming soon. She will, I guess, once they return from Potomac. Gary, you must think that I have, like, because I might like someone on a show, that I can't see two sides of things. He says, nah, Kemp, the Stacey Christie is a big deal. If true, I know you like Stacey, but come on. I still don't think it's a big deal. And I think a lot of people in the chat really don't think that it's a big deal. Please understand, I'm also the person that came out with the exclusive exposing Stacey, hence why she unfollowed me. And this is after I met Stacey in person and she was at my live show. So if I thought it was a big deal, I would say it's a big deal. I don't think if he was still with Monique, maybe it's a big deal. If they were still married, it probably would be a big deal. He's single. She was apparently single. I don't think he's a bachelor. She's good looking. He's good looking. I can see him wanting to be with her. I don't think it's a big deal. Y'all might be stuck on trying to make it seem like I'm a Stacey stan. I like Stacey because Stacey is delivering. All right, unlike some people on this show, she's delivering, and despite people keep coming for her, she keeps going do 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 do. And Andy loves her too. Just saying. All right. Last but definitely not least, Taurus Sun is backstage. Taurus Sun, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Potomac? I don't hear you, Taurus Sun. Taurus Sun, we don't hear you. We don't hear you. I don't know what happened, Taurus.
No.
Oh, there we go. Now I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Gizelle, I don't like that. That was mean girl behavior. And yes, I am blessed to that other caller, but it is mean girl behavior. And she is too old for that. And I see why her marriage didn't work. And also her ex-boyfriend was in the park looking for lady boys, because she's not a real person. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I like Tia. I think she's a breath of fresh air. And also, I just don't like what Gizelle did. I think it's childish, and I think it's classless. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Please eat. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Taurus. So you know I'm hungry. All right. Thank you to everyone that called in. We appreciate you being here for our Real Housewives of Potomac recap. We had quite a few calls. I also had a lot to say. I don't get to everything in the episode, but this was a supersized episode, so that's probably why we had a lot to talk about this week. But if you're part of the replay crew, we haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate this week's episode, and also your thoughts on the episode, your thoughts on what we had to say. Feel free to chime in. Don't forget to support our sponsor for today's Alive, Factor Meals. A discount's available in the description, along with, if you want to know more about my skincare, be sure to check that out. And everything Kempire, including how you can get a t-shirt. Are you okay? Look at that. Look at that. And it has Kempire at the bottom. Get your t-shirts today. Head on over to houseofkempire.com for your t-shirts. And of course, and there's sweatshirts available as well. I was going to wear the sweatshirt, but then I would have been burning up in here. Okay? All right. Thank you to our King Scars. Thank you to our channel members. And of course, you can become a member at teamkempire.com/join. And of course, shout out to our subscribers. It was a subscribers only live chat. And for those of you watching in the bushes, we appreciate you as well. Become a subscriber so you don't miss out on these recaps. Okay. All right. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. And as Teka says, to all the Jamaicans currently on the island, be safe. We are strong together. Let's say a prayer for Jamaica and every island that's in the path of Hurricane Melissa. All right, y'all. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.